Silence surrounds them. The story of Joan of Arc on May 30, 1431, the air of Rouen was thick with unease, a tension wrapping the city like a haunting cord. Shadows lengthened in the streets, filtered through the fading sun, painting the sky in pastels of orange and lavender. Though the day had begun with promise, it now echoed despair as if chasing away the last rays of light. Within the stone walls of the old castle, not far from where she would meet her fate, Joan of Arc sat in her cell. The simplicity of her surroundings heightened the moment's gravity. Cold stone, a rough straw bed, and the faint, earthy scent creeping through the cracks were her only companions. At 19, she bore the weight of a nation's hopes and fears. Time moved slowly in that cell, momentarily silencing the world beyond, the raucous soldiers, distant cathedral bells, and gathering crowds. Joan's heart raced with a wild combination of hope and fear, emotions reflecting her inner turmoil. Once a revered warrior of God, she now confronted the oppressive silence that opened the depths of her vulnerabilities. Memories flooded her: France's golden fleur-de-lis, Charles the Dauphin's proud face, and comrades from battles that defined their destinies. Yet could her divine purpose endure the trials to come? Even a soldier's heart could falter under judgment's harsh light. Had she misinterpreted the visions that had guided her? She sensed doubt creeping in as a specter into her heart, suggesting that solitude can be more damning than any trial. As she shifted atop the straw, she closed her eyes. A vision of Domremy pierced through. A day she felt called to battle. The voices of Saints Michael, Catherine, and Margaret urged her forth, the shepherd girl now transformed into a warrior spirit. Yet the silence persisted, mocking her past. Echoes of cries for liberation filled her ears, reminders of war's cost. Could her life hold meaning amid such heavy reckoning? The stones pressed against her back, unyielding like her destiny. The door creaked open. A guard entered, a silhouette against the dim corridor light. His voice, heavy with restraint, announced, "Time has come." Joan remained still, determination igniting within. "I am ready," she replied, feeling fear swell in her throat. "I must fulfill God's will." What awaited her would scrutinize her essence, her faith, her womanhood, and the dread suspended between life and death. Guided by the guard through the castle's twisted halls, Joan sensed a profound dissonance between the fierce girl who had led armies and the fragile woman now walking toward condemnation. The chill of the corridor mirrored the tumult within. Reaching the courtyard, a crowd awaited her with a mix of fervor and bitterness, a reflection of their lost faith. As she stepped into the open, the sun briefly illuminated her path, then faded amidst the gathering chill. She felt oddly detached, yet every gaze felt piercing, accusing through collective grief and disillusionment. Then they announced her name, Joan of Arc, the Maid of Orleans. Standing before the ecclesiastical court, the judge's scrutiny assessed not just her actions, but scrutinized the foundations of her faith. The trial unfolded as an amalgamation of accusation and despair, questioning her visions and very identity. Stripped of defenses, Joan faced her truth shaped by duty and destiny. "I am God's soldier," she declared, a fierce armor forged by her experiences, but even the staunchest armor can falter. Throughout the trial, clergymen and politicians sought to paint her a heretic, a witch. Yet Joan stood resolute, speaking from her heart amid uncertainty. Days became weeks, and the trial endured, echoing her spirit's resistance against authority's weight. Confessions demanded twisted her divine mission into muddled accusations. Whispers of doubt began to surface again, causing her to question if divinity had ever truly guided her. The world faded around her, the courtyard transforming into a sepulchre of resolve as the trial neared its end. The day was approaching to finalize her fate, with the stakes ignited by her defiance. Each decree hung heavy in the air, casting shadows she sought to ward off. In that moment, Joan stood on the edge of despair. A flickering light of courage emerged. Perhaps this was her moment to embody the warrior she believed herself to be. At peace amid chaos, a voice resonating before silence descended. As the moments unfolded toward her condemnation, she realized that flames would not extinguish her impact. They would elevate her spirit, immortalizing her presence. May 30, 1431 would blur between martyrdom and legacy. In preparing for the pyres that awaited her, Joan donned courage like a mantle. The voices once guiding her rang louder now, illuminating her existence's greater purpose. It transcended her singular journey, becoming a beacon of hope. As historians reflect on her ashes, they witness more than a girl who led armies. A silence waits for reverence within the tapestry of existence, binding the question of what it means to live, fight, and find peace in the void. In the flickering shadows, Joan became an eternal hymn of resistance, breathing life into the hopes woven into France's heart, a country silently yearning for redemption and unity.